Ulrike, when did you first come to Kuranda?
In 1971,
And what were your first impressions of the place? What did you think of it?
I thought it was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. The rainforest and the rain. It was in the middle of the wet season, so it was very, very wet, very exotic. And we stayed in Fitzy's pub, which was in the middle of town, and it was a place frozen in time.
In what do you mean that? How was it?
Well, our room was stiff with no use, if I can say it that way. The towels had hardened over the racks. The bed was, the mattress was horsehair, and everything had this kind of layer of dust and mould over it.
So it was like completely different to what you would have come from.
It was just like that. And the bathroom, when I went to have a shower in the evening with my towel over my arm, was ankle deep in water, so I couldn't have a shower. So it was sort of like that, except it was fascinating because downstairs where the pub was, people would come in for a drink. Mr. Fitz would serve them beer with the tap still running. The tap would always be running. The beer would be just going down the gurgler. I don't know. This is how it was. There was a little group of hippie girls standing under the pub in the shelter from the rain in their swami nighties, all beautiful lavenders and pinks, and I just wanted to be one of them. They looked so gorgeous.
So beautiful.
So beautiful, these girls. No shoes. It was sort of not cold, but it was, well, if it was the wet season, it was probably humid. I just can't quite remember now. It was bleak, you know. Anyway, we stayed there for about a week, every day eating in the dining room. Mrs. Fitz would be cooking on her long-range wood, oven, cooking up a storm, roasts. For breakfast there would be steak and eggs, racks of toast, pots of tea, absolutely fantastic. That's how it was.
And what about the rest of the town? How did you find the rest? Was it...
Well, the rest of the town was almost at a standstill. There was almost nobody around. The train would come up with almost nobody on board. They'd be lucky if there was a tourist on board.
Were there many shops in those days?
No, there was hardly any shops. You couldn't really go shopping. There was no shops like there are today. No T-shirts or anything like that. There was one little cafe that was mostly empty. We went in there one day to get something to eat, but as far as I could tell, it was mostly at a standstill. The whole town was kind of frozen in time like that. The train station had the most beautiful ferns growing, hanging ferns, baskets of ferns, just absolutely growing like Alice in Wonderland. I don't know who the gardener was now, but they were absolutely astounding. I had never seen anything growing like that before.
Goodness.
So we used to go down there quite a bit just to see the ferns. It was like a botanical gardens, better, amazing. Then at the end of the week, anyway, when we were staying at Fitzy's pub, at the end of the week I went to pay the bill to Mr. Fitz, who said it came to 17 and 6, he said, and I said it can't be 17 and 6. We've been eating all these meals, staying all these nights. It's got to be more than that. And he got quite cross and said, if you don't like it, you can leave now. He said it's 17 and 6. And I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that was my stay, my week in Kuranda. Later to return, 5 years later to